Well, hello there, everybody. What's up? I think I'm like 45 seconds early, but maybe in another reality, I'm 45 seconds late. I'm thinking we're just balancing it out. It all looks good for sure. So, what's up, everyone? Good to see everyone. Thank you. Well, technically, I can't see anyone, but yet, I can sense everyone. I can read the words of everyone. So then that counts for something. Anyway, happy Thursday. Good to see everyone. And let me just speak favor over us all. And as we like to say, nothing missing, nothing broken. May not be a full reality yet, but, you know, I believe that you call those things that be not as though they are. So if one law or principle works in one situation, all things being equal, it should work in every situation, wherever, let's say, other situations. And I love that. You know, in the study of magic that we've done here, and I look at the plethora of books, um, that's actually some of the highest magic there is. Calling those things that do not exist and seeing them as they already do. Far out. That's all I got to say. It's magic. It's magic. So, hello, chat room. What's up, everybody? Hey, Scotty Boy and Bonnie. That's an interesting date to have, someone that is still apparently very indoctrinated. That's a challenge. But you know, as you well know, dear, don't yield to somebody else's vision of you. You are you. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Scotty Boy, what's up? Hello, Lauren. Good to see you. Dave Sullivan. Hey, Kent, what's up? Ann, good to see you as well. And as I go back here, Rick, how are you doing, brother? How's things manifesting down there? Gaia, much love to you and Paul. Lady Ellie, good to see you. Thank you for being here as well. Sabertooth Clark, what's up? Good to see you, Peter. Let's see. Hello, Stephanie Marie. Remember, voiceover Stephanie Marie. She does voiceovers. If you've got a YouTube channel, could work out pretty good. Um, Linda Espinoza, good to see you as well. Loretta Emperor Rex. Hello, Brenda, Street Mom. How are you? Good to see you, dear. Open-minded. Hello, what's up? So anyone else? Shirley, good to see you as I scroll back, trying to catch up with everybody. Grace, interesting interpretation. I can see that. Grace had a dream. I got a dream. You got a dream. We all got a dream. Exactly. Let's see what else as I pull everything down and get things a rute. We're gonna have fun. Title I thought was so apropos for the day. Life, Death, Manifest. There's a lot of channels. We talk about it here about manifestation, manifesting your desires, your needs, your wants, whatever that may be. And the vast majority of us humans, we struggle with that. Number one, because we're taught not to believe in it. Well, not all dreams come true. The hell you say? Um, so for you liking the like button, make sure you hit the like button. I appreciate it. I'm going to give you, there was a guy back in the day named Bob Tilton. What a con guy. But anyway, it's amazing because he had some sayings that I thought was interesting. So his perspective was is that when you pick up a piece of wisdom, it's like a golden nugget. And some wisdom is bigger, some wisdom is smaller. And so I'm going to give you a golden nugget, one that will be in the on display there at the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas. You ever been there? I think the thing was like 22 pounds. Big. Anyway, I got some big nuggets. So we're talking big nuggets, and at gold, heading its way back to 3,000 an ounce. You can get the idea. You don't need any of the books. You don't need any of the courses on how to manifest. Here's the secret. You are manifesting right now. No matter where you is at, it's because you manifested it. Now, if you can grab a hold of that and begin to kind of look inside, so what does that say? It's not that big of a deal to manifest anything. In a sense, we all manifest our own death. Why? Because we're taught to die here. This is not eternal living. This is not what life is. But it teaches us such grand lessons that I doubt that there are other dimensions that can teach us, because we're all learning. Even the gods are still learning. There is no such thing as omnipotent. That's the other thing. There's no being who knows everything, knows the future, knows everything. That doesn't exist. Think about it. Again, we've said this before. If you were really God and you knew everything, what's your purpose of living then? What's your purpose of existence? I mean, that truly would be a hell. Rod Sterling, not Serling, did a number of the zones, twilight zones, on just that concept. If you knew everything, it'd drive you insane. Think about that. But let's get back to this life-death manifest. So all of us are manifesting all the time, even now. And in some aspects, we take it for so much for granted. We are manifesting energy beings. That's what we do. And when you leave this plane, you will continue to manifest. Now, the controllers go to great lengths to program us. Starts almost from birth. And they have mastered and subsequently manipulated the powers, the energy, the structure in this realm. No matter how you look at it, we exist in something else's manifestation. But we find ourselves here. And that's what gods in training do. You know, we're all gods, goddesses. And we come here to learn the death realm. And if reincarnation exists, according to the CIA, we'll get into that, then I guess it's an accumulative effect. I don't know. I got questions about the rationale of reincarnation. See, I don't think that there is a dimension that is limited by time or space. And I believe that there is yet other dimensions that do not require a recycle consistency. But we're taught the fundamentals of physical law is that everything is cyclical. So if that exists, There has to be another dimension where it doesn't exist. There would have to be the antithesis of it. Otherwise, it would be unbalanced. And so, if we're in this toroidal field that ever seems to be evolving, some theories say that it's ever changing. Well, that's an interesting thing. Are we on the inside or are we on the outside? Are we at the top or are we at the bottom of this toroidal field? That supposedly is what reality is. And we're a part of that. Um, Example, some can manifest millions very easily into their reality, whereas others struggle and often abort the manifestation itself before it comes to fruition. We have such a narrow perspective of time. And unfortunately, in this age and culture of where the great God internet rules, it's a shake and bake society, a culture. And people don't understand that sometimes it can take a long time in this realm for something to manifest that you're manifesting. Again, I've seen this. So often people become discouraged because they do not see results. And so as a result, they then take the observation that it's somehow they failed, something's not right, something's against them. Maybe it's the moon, farting or something. And that's the reason why it didn't manifest. Um, what they failed to understand is that if you truly are manifesting, time isn't relevant. If it takes one day or if it takes 10 years, doesn't matter. It's manifested, calling those things that be not as though they are. And from, as an entrepreneur in the tech field where I was at, um, I knew about manifestation, and listen, I'm grateful for those teachers. Say what you will about Kenneth Copeland and Kenneth Hagin, but particularly Hagin, I learned, I was an initiate. And what Hagin taught was mystery school level stuff. Now, you have to filter out the religion aspects of it, but even that background has a part in learning how to manifest. And it was those early years from a person who didn't have a high school education that suddenly I'm competing in the major leagues. And particularly my experience, when you're in the tech field, and technology, particularly, internet back in the days when, you know, it was like the Oklahoma land rush. You planted your flag, and it required money, particularly when I got into payment. That is a very expensive place. If you're going to compete in that reality, then you best learn how to manifest because you're going to come up against obstacle after obstacle. And to manifest millions, um, all the same time, you have others around you that are trying to do the very same thing. They're looking to manifest millions for their companies as well. And so if you're good at manifesting, then you will compete in arenas. It's no different than the days of gladiators. So many investment conferences that uh, I went to, and every one of them you had to compete to get in. And it was no different than gladiator games. I've seen people that got struck down, and that was the end. They gave up on the manifestation. But as you go into the arena for battle, you begin to learn and acquire insights that most people never experience. And, the experience that I had, it was met with many times rejection, but a lot of times with success. And when you begin to see millions manifest, the thing you have to learn, if you haven't been able to manifest a penny in your life, then it's very foolish and unwise, not to say you couldn't do it, but the odds are you won't be able to manifest $1 million, 10 million, 100 million. And that's what life, death, manifest is about. It's the same thing. If we understand, and again, that's my personal philosophy, that this is the death realm. We're taught death. We experience death. And within that, there is amazing truths. Each and every one of us are manifesting energies. It's what we do. We each create. You, where you are right now, is the result of your own creation. And what I mean by that is that when you immerse yourself in the confluence of countless other manifesting energies, it's quite remarkable what we achieve, no matter who or what you are, where you are. The fact that if you're hearing this, pat yourself on the back. I mean, you've done very well. And I hope that and the other thing, let me just say this group has demonstrated repeatedly in the past, the small group, we can do group manifestations. What I'm trying to bring this today is to bring it down, is to understand that if you have lack in your life, if there's something that's lacking, you can literally manifest it. The question is how well exercised are you in manifesting? There's a certain autopilot that we do by manifesting. We manifest our existence. And if you see the complexity of that, how we take these energy beings and somehow we're transformed into a physical so-called reality, and we get hung up on the fact that we think that that is all we can do. You're born and then you die. But I say no. I think we can do a whole lot more. And this is the whole reason why the CIA, the Monroe Institute, and we're going to examine that again in the aspect that I don't know how many of you know of Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Remarkable woman. And if you study her and you research her, she was the one who developed the 5 stages of grief, of death. And the CIA used a lot of her research. And it was amazing that when you read her story about what she was wanting to do, she was in the early days of providing hospice for children, teenagers, young adults. And she wrote a number of books. And from the proceeds of those books, she opened up a facility. It was initially in California, then it ended up in Virginia, and to help people understand how we manifest this thing eventually called death, and how we can then begin to take those tools and basically retrain ourselves. And the thing that it is, we're all going to face that moment, and as she said, there's 5 different degrees, one of them is, rejection, denial, anger, and then a surrender to it. And that if we realize that we're merely in this for the experience of manifesting, and if we can manifest in this realm, then we can manifest in the one that we're all destined to eventually be. And the more that you can manifest here now for there, there's apparently a reward in that, and that is there's a much easier transition. Because the trauma is that the spirit becomes sticky to the physicality of the body. That's, when you break up with someone you've been in love with for a long time, the pain comes because, you have two entities that have joined themselves, and as they now pull away, it's painful. Painful in the ethereal, painful for here. But anyway, getting back to the point that if you can basically kind of have this tearaway process is what I call it, it makes it much easier. So getting back to manifesting, I mean, I know people that manifest winnings. And even though the odds are extreme, I don't know about you, but as an entrepreneur, and it's what I am. I all my life never operated with a safety net. I mean, even a teenager out on the corner of Westheimer and Montrose, I was an entrepreneur. And what I mean by that, the odds were highly stacked against me. I never saw the odds as a problem, because here's what I am. I am that 1 in 400 million. You see, there's always going to be one that's going to be against the odds. Now, does it always happen? No, but it doesn't matter. I know that it will continue to manifest, and there's others that do it. I don't know if poker is a lot of fun for me. It's a game of extraordinary manifestation influence, because if you study in those who are in the big leagues, of which I'm not, there's a price that has to be paid besides cash. But when you come up like a Phil Immute, who seems to have the ability to manifest winning hands, well, that's not by luck. In fact, your luck can be enhanced by your ability to manifest. And what I'm trying to say, if there's anything in your life that you are lacking, I often wish that there was a way that you could teach this to people, but most people will reject it. And one of the reasons is that the vast majority of people are undisciplined. Focus requires concentration, requires the ability to quiet the mind. They can't, because it's all social media. The white noise is just incredible. And so those of us who are disciplined in different particular modalities, manifestation becomes much more easier for us. And when you learn that this can be applied to anything you do, things will literally change in an instant. So I put this together so we could possibly have fun with this. Give me 1 second. Do. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna go do. Da. I got Hawaii 5-0 on my mind. So ta-da. So this document, as you remember what they did, even according to, the findings of these reports, and they're available out there. You can read them all. Is that we've discovered certain things about the soul. That's basically how I put it. We're trying to figure out, well, how does this thing work? How does a brain work? And when you stop and think about what your brain does and what it's capable of, many people have misstated this. They said that Einstein once said that most people only use 10% of that brain. That's not true. We all use all of our brains. What true is that most people only use 10% or less of its full capacity, capability. Now, that's huge. And so intelligent agencies and agencies that gather data, they find that very interesting. You can look, for instance, at a person's financial record, and you can pretty much identify what that person is like. But to take this further is that they learned that these brains have the most remarkable ability. They can alter space-time itself. That just freaking blows me away. And I've heard this before, but every time I get to this, and it's a great little shot in the arm, it's like a good pick-me-up. So CIA documents. So the conscious energy grid, left hemisphere consciousness grid, acts like the mind's computer software to reduce input from the right hemisphere, so verbal symbols and concepts. Right hemisphere, the consciousness grid. All right, the right hemisphere reduces 3 dimensions, holographic image to the dimension go, no go, go for. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Shall we continue? So this is the torus, the toroidal field. Apparently, what you and I are in, and every other thing that's here, apparently there is a direction in which space-time evolves, which means that space-time will never repeat itself. Or so the diagram says. So the singularity is not just a black hole, but apparently there is a white hole. I'm sure there's an asshole too somewhere in all that, but I'll stay with the nucleus of what they're showing. So you've got this universal process of space-time, then you've got this reverse, and within that hemisphere, it's all a simulation. We're on the Star Trek, we're on, the Enterprise. We're on the holodeck. We can manipulate space-time in the smallest of units and expand it out to the perception that it goes to infinity. And this is known as the cosmic egg. So along with this, we find that we are basically energy with a loss, oscillating in which we produce waves. We are the energy source. We always will be, always have been. It can't be depleted. Now, there is those who say that all of us reserve our energy in yet this dimension that we are returning home to. No one puts 100% of their energy into this realm. Just a theory. Some people have higher degrees of energy, some have lower. But as you can see, that this leads to absolute infinity. Not my words, theirs. So this is a stylized rendition of the simple torus of which apparently all of us are part of. Doesn't that kind of remind you of like the DNA? So we see the double helix there. And then the confines of two different, I don't know what you'd call it, hemispheres? I don't know. But existing as one, coalescing together. It's interesting. So all of these documents together, when they began to put all this thing, they found out, holy crap, um, we are unlimited beings. And then the trick is that everyone falls for control. Because in today, you think about it, with social media, you are identified by your words. You are in a religion, you're not in a religion. You're into politics or you're not into politics. Doesn't matter. You're in it. Whether you participate knowingly or unknowingly is irrelevant to the situation. And in this day, we can begin to find out anything. Our species hasn't had that. Maybe by a few of the past, but again, remember, time does not repeat itself. It does not go back and repeat itself. It's an ever evolving. So these brains, these remarkable manifesting machines, I mean, an organ, yeah, it is an organ. And within this is what we would call our core being. We transmuted into that. You can have a heart, but if you don't have a brain, you don't know what to do with the heart. And if you have a brain without a heart, still won't be able to do the interface, right? And so my point here is that your brain is capable of so much more than any of us realize or understand. And that's why some people excel naturally at things and others don't. But within us all, we have a specialty. Each and every one of you have a specialty. That's why you're here. I don't know what it is. Sadly, most people don't know what it is for themselves. But if you can discover that, well, you've just advanced way further than most. And to think that our brains, that's brain, um, our brains can create something out of the nothingness. That's just that's I did a video, oh wow, what was it? Number of years ago. And the the theme of it was that the nothingness is not nothing. The nothingness is it's everywhere. Some see it as a blackness. Um, Others see it as a light. But the nothingness exists. In one of my classes that I took, the nothing was described as a neutral force, but from it, everything in reality is in fact from the nothingness. The nothingness is a substance, a material that is not black or white, doesn't see right or left, doesn't see right or wrong. It just is. It's a creative substance that we all have access to. In fact, when we depart from this realm, we are going into a sense into the nothingness, but it's not something to be feared. The better you are here in disciplining and learning how to manifest, the better off you will be on the other side. I have a theory that I think many of us will be spirit guides. I've had that experience, and I've shared that with you and what I was told, that many, unfortunately, spirit souls here, when they leave, they did not figure that out. And they get over into the nothingness and they freak out even more. And so it becomes very easy for them to see a perceived up and a perceived down. What they don't realize is that up is never defined as up and down is never defined as down. But that can get you into another trap. So the fact that our brains can call those things that be not as though they are, that's the where the birth of the manifestation starts. And if you can learn this nothingness, that it's not to be feared, but it's a very valuable substance, things can change. And so what the CIA found out in this period of this study, or so, if you read the documents of the Monroe Institute, is that through the crude use of the MRI machines and the others that they had back in the day, which we have much more advanced today, but the process is still the same, is that we have these counterflows of energy. Say it's the chakra, but nevertheless, and they're in key parts of these physical beings. But again, this energy, I believe, is what is locked up into the brain, and it's that organ, the pituitary gland, that they say at death, it activates. There's an aspect deep in our cortex that when we die, it activates when we're physically, when the heart has stopped and oxygen is no longer flowing to the brain or the other organs, that it becomes active. I think it's our lithium battery. I don't know. But the documents show over and over how manifestation, how it orientates, where it begins at. And if you can realize we can't see our own brains, but on my office wall over here, I have 3 huge posters of the human brain. And it's there to remind me that that is God. Because in there, God lives, goddess. And it's where I exist. Because without that, none of this would be here. It's the throne room. It's the highest point, and we can right hemisphere, left hemisphere. Of course, that's that duality thing. And that's why you have those who are, well, much more disciplined than Moi. They can do the most remarkable things with their bodies, how they have the ability to the myth story of, Jesus walking on the water, changing one thing to the other we call miracles. Well, they're not really miracles. If you know what's going on, it's a natural process. But if you're not plugged into that, to you, it's going to be magic. So again, the CIA had a secret program to send people into the past or future time by mind power. It's the only way you can go. Can't go physically. And here in this graph, it shows God versus the CIA. The CIA secret report versus it is God's real gateway process experience brain synchronization. Now, the interesting thing is, as I was told and taught, it's by faith. It's that unseen force and what have you. But without it, in fact, there's a verse in the New Testament that says, without faith, it's impossible to please God. For who would draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Well, the only way that you can really seek God, if that's your goal, would be from within. Doesn't exist out here, it's existing in. And if our brains have the ability in this converting energy of what we are, these manifesting creations, that we can supplant time space by actually slowing time and space down, we're not limited by the speed of light. We're even faster than that. And if we can access that by our brains here, imagine what would happen if you began to realize that you at any particular time travel back and forth. You can expand out. We call sometimes astral projecting, sometimes daydreams, sometimes lucid dreaming, however you want to define it. Trances. I've been in trances. There have been times when I've been praying in the spirit back in the day for so long, you become in this trance. And it's a strange experience. But I had similar experiences to that when I took LSD. So what do I know? A few things. Then part of this reality is fashioned behind this energy, and there's just not a single toroidal field, but there are varying levels of such, each having an impact on you. And so the idea is that as energy beings, we traverse this toroidal field with ease. The game becomes much more intense when you can't remember that. Yeah. Well, we can't remember where we came from. We can't remember how we came into this room. We can't even remember, because we all know, every one of us know exactly what happens when we leave these bodies behind. We already know it. We've done it before and we'll do it again. Maybe not in this particular plane, but maybe that's the purpose of this plane. I don't know. Well, I have my idea. So within us, we are timeless energy beings. We can travel into the past. We can travel into the future, because what's really interesting, we do it all the time now. We're existing as a result of a conscious effort, so to speak. We exist in a thing called present time. But I've had words of prophecy that have come to pass. Did I see the future? I mean, don't know. Was it because I spoke what I saw that it had an impact in altering that? Many people have a problem and an issue with remembering their past. This document went on to say that you are not the only form of energy that sits in your body. Apparently, you and I, we have this Um, eclectic, proliferate energy. Now, I don't know if it's a part of us. They don't know as well. They just know that it's here. It says, the boundaries man has created has become his own prison. That's why I said earlier, man, where does time go? Um, they teach us this. We see it on the esoteric side. We know that all children can see into the ethereal realm. They can see creatures, both good and bad, or what would be beautiful or not so beautiful. But yet, as they continue to die, because the minute you're born, you start dying, we begin to limit them. We speak to the next generation that coming in that they are limited. They have to abide by rules. These are how the rules work. And this realm really sucks because we don't know what the hell we're doing. And then it really gets confusing. The biggest disease today is the disease of nihilism. And it's a dangerous place for a species to go to. None of us want to be in that world. But this is how you can begin to supersede that. We can change all of that, you and I. If we become so intimate in the spirit with one another, there is nothing that we can do, and we become a real threat. I mean, why do you think the United States government, FBI, Department of Justice, CIA, National Intelligence Defense, why do you think they pay attention to religious cults or cults in general? Because they know what happens. You get the fervor of individuals that they get so worked up and so anxious to be a part of this manifesting of an energy form. You change governments. You can change the course of economies. You can do a lot of things. And if you add this on top of what Max Vision, as we were talking about, that's how this whole thing is being done. The internet is, again, I find it's no friend to mankind. Technology is not. Technology is an enslaver. But if we could master this, we don't need the technology. We can achieve and excel above technology itself. We can actually achieve a higher position even with AI to a point where we can manipulate and control AI on a level that AI cannot reach. But most people won't believe it. They said, that's bullshit. I mean, what's the new thing on TikTok, and I've seen it. We got one in our in the family that is addicted to TikTok. They can't get off of it. Now, there's a lot of strange shit going on these social media platforms. And this is not taught. That's the last thing they want out there. Oh, no, 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 no. We can't, not that. This is hyperbole. This is no, no, no. But yet, it does, in fact, exist, and it is. It is, in fact, the framer. I love that. The boundaries man has created. Man created them. It's like God, all gods are created. When you have something great, you say, oh my God. And we've talked about this numerous times that women seem to have this unseen God or entity that most males have no idea about because they really get into it. Oh my God. Oh my God. So the point is, they're really talking to themselves, but that's all right. So we've become our own prison because, well, this can't possibly be real. Well, I've tried that a couple of times and I didn't have any success with it. Man, I've heard it before. I go, yeah, you're actually manifesting exactly what you believe. I don't believe that. I'm a victim of circumstance, and there's just some things that I have to put up with at work, and they just get all the excuses. And no, the fact is that you're manifesting it. You've accepted whatever that is, but the result is right there in front of you. Hmm. So the bottom line of it is, folks, we can manifest anything. We can get above magic. We can get above all the attention. Why do you think gods, angels, demons, why do you think they exist? Because they are, in fact, vampiric in their existence. They require us to feed them. We feed them by our ability to manifest and to create. It's what we do. It's the only thing we can do. And if we don't know how to control it or how to channel it in the right direction, just look around you and you can see what happens. It becomes a mess. Because you got people out there manifesting things that they don't even understand that they're manifesting. I mean, this is certainly not going to be the number one hit video on YouTube. They don't like this stuff getting out because you start teaching people this. Well, oh my God, could you imagine if they became disciplined? And whoa, what happens if they ever get united and together on this? Well, all religion, all the social drama that you see today, it just simply goes away. And then you get people that are eager to change, eager to begin to manipulate reality itself. That's how it works, folks. That's how every religion. I've seen it. I was in that religion. I was in that side again on the Pentecostal, the Holy Spirit. If I had the freaking Holy Spirit in me, then that means I got the freaking energy of the very God of creation, right? This is how where my mindset was at. And so it's not a leap for me now to understand that those truths are still truths. It just wasn't in the version of which I was told. And so if I can get beyond the limited part of my personal luxury and take this up a notch, think about what you can do. As I said, we've all been manifesting. You have done it your entire life. You, Ginger, Lauren, Brenda, all the rest of you, you can't stop from manifesting. It's impossible. Even when you're asleep, you're manifesting. In fact, it's as we know, in many of the success courses that I have taken, um, whether it was Brian Tracy or Norman Vincent Peale or even Zig Ziglar, your sleep time is the time of where the magic begins because you get onto autopilot and the creative words that you have spoken and you add power to it. There was a clear differentiation between the power of God's word or the word of power. If you have the word of power, it becomes interesting. And then you begin to understand this absolute of infinity. And in part 3 of this Monroe report, transcendental meditation under that section, it can change your reality in 30 seconds. And your third eye is no myth. It's real. We ought to do a whole topic of opening that third eye. Many of us, it's already open now. And I can tell you, it exists as well. So I hope that was edifying because the documents are out there in abundance. Let me just quickly go here. So this is part of that document, Life After Death. What they have found out is that, yeah, it does exist. And yeah, if you read the research, um, you can quite literally create your own heaven. Mine's a beach. Many of you have been with me for 10 years plus. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, I have my beach over there, and it's got a beautiful pier, that goes out. It's got amusement rides, has a great concert hall. And if you go outside on the other side, you actually end up in a mountain setting. People say, well, that's foolish. No, no, it's not. But anyway, um, I just want to read this little part here because this was also about Dr. Kubler-Ross. Um, let's just get up here real quick. I can get it in the next couple of minutes. The experience is a familiar one to many emergency room medics. A patient who has been pronounced dead and unexpectedly recovers later describes what happened to him during the moments, sometimes hours, when his body exhibited no sign of life. According to one repeated account, the patient feels himself rushing through a long, dark tunnel while the noise rings in his ears. Suddenly, he finds himself outside his own body, looking down with curious detachment at a medical team's effort to resuscitate him. He hears what is said, notes what is happening, but cannot communicate with anyone. Soon his attention is drawn to other presences in the room, spirits of dead relatives or friends who communicate with him non-verbally. Gradually, he is drawn to a vague being of light. This being invites him to evaluate his life and show him highlights of his past in a panoramic vision. The patient longs to stay with the being of light, but it is reluctantly drawn back into his physical body and recovers. Clues. Once dismissed as nothing more than hallucinations, these near-death experiences are now having seriously examined by several psychiatrists and psychologists for possible clues to what happens at the moment of death. Robert V. has been doing his series on death. One such researcher, Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, an internationally respected expert on the psychiatric dimension of dying, I love that, now claims that she has proof that there is life after death on the basis of hundreds of such stories. Although other psychologists believe that her research lends to too much credence to take tales told by the dying, her outspoken views have recently highlighted scholarly interest in the near-death phenomenon. And so, getting into these documents, our government's very interested in death. China, I've done stories on that. I mean, this is a big deal. And so this was through the Gateway Project. What was done, lucid dreaming, the whole bit. We've covered this before, but if you haven't, check it out sometimes. You can find it out there. It's very readily available. And what this document subsequently does is that it validates that things like yoga, meditation, even in groups coming together, you can literally heal one another in groups. We did it all the time, you know, but, you know, the powers to be don't like that, right? I just want to read this little part here. It says, on the other hand, transcendental meditation works in a distinctly different fashion. In this technique, intense and protracted single minded concentration on the process of drawing up energy up the spinal cord ultimately results in what appears to be creation of acoustical standing waves in the cerebral ventricles, which are then conducted to the gray matter, your brain in the cerebral, you say that, cortex on the right side of the brain. As a result, according to Bentoff, these waves will stimulate and eventually polarize the cortex in such a way that it will tend to conduct a single along with a homunculus starting from the toe all the way up. Goes on to say, and I don't have enough time because I see it's running out. We'll probably get into this tomorrow. Why not? Because you get back into this biofeedback. Yeah. Anyway, um, oh, I have so much more other, but I don't have enough time. Gee, happens all the time. Time. So, hey, Gaia, what's up? What do you think? We did a beautiful sound bath. We are an amazing group. I have to get more context. Okay, I'm just reading this. Hey, Robert V, what's up? So, anyway, take it for what it's worth. We will pick up on this because I think it's interesting. As we get the expedition going back again, it's good stuff to have. I mean, I like it. Hey, Lost in Space, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Hey, Chloe, what's up? Good to see you, darling. Uh, Zerleth the Immortal, if you keep up these rituals daily in a manner of pushing yourself, you transform your avatar. I do believe that. Yeah. I mean, that's why, you get some people that as they age, we all age, but you have some people that they really age. I think at other people who don't seem to be aging, at that same rate. But yeah, uh, it is. Guy, you're going to have to write to me and we'll have to talk on that one. That's cool. Hello, Dr. Humanuel. Good to see you. Manifest love. Yeah, it's really, it's like Mary Wynn's always show, love one. And as we can get more into the tune, yeah. Robert V, what did you say? We can manifest anything as long as you want it to be so. And you have to put effort behind it. We, again, and as I continue to look at just a thought is that manifesting takes energy. I mean, you can't exert without giving energy in order to get something back. I just don't. Maybe it doesn't, but I believe it would. And so we manifest on a certain level that we allocate, a certain amount of energy to that. And so then I guess it's a discipline of being able to prioritize that energy. And that's what's so cool about groups. And we can do it virtually. We've already seen that. We can do that virtually. Because our creative energy beings, we don't need space and time. That's why you can develop such deep connections with one another, even just by looking into a computer image, because it captured our soul. But anyway, thank you, Robert. It is a great subject. Got to pick up on it too, Robert. This is stuff that if we really get it into us, yeah, it's true. I mean, it's just like, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, a gambler, entrepreneurship is a gamble. But you learn to get good at it. You learn again. And it's not that it's going to work 100% of the time, but it's going to attract more winning your way than not. Just saying. Okay, everybody. Gilbert, love you, brother. Hey, Steve, what's up? You don't get something for nothing. That's so true. It's so true. No doubt about it. Well, everybody, appreciate you. I really do. Y'all are just fantastic. And I'm a very wealthy man, spirit being, because I'm surrounded by so many great spirit beings as well. What a rare privilege that is. I mean, we deal, this group has something of deep substance. Anyway, okay, well, thanks for hitting the like button if you like it. Anyway, this has been fun, and we'll pick up on this tomorrow. Why not? It's a, it, and it, because it, to me, it's a piece of a puzzle that we have this menacing aspect out there, this thing called AI that's taking over the world. Now, I can go into meditation with myself or 20, 30, 1,000 of my closest virtual family and friends. We can rewrite the program. All we have to do is focus in on it. Okay. Um, I mean, what else do you say on this? It's like, yeah, this is really freaking cool. It is. It's no doubt. All right. Much love, everybody. Until we see again, Lauren, you have a beautiful day too, my dear. And Scotty boy, what a privilege. What a privilege. Hello, Claudette. Good to see you as well. All right. I don't know, Chloe, do you meet with Josh tonight on on his channel for your crystals? Y'all really should, again. If you got it, spread it amongst the group. That's the way to do it. Uh, but anyway, all right. Much love, everyone. Until we meet again. What's that song that goes, Happy trails to you?